Hey guys, welcome back to Slinger's Shelves. Today I got another throwback piece. As you can see here, this is the XM Studios Poison Ivy from their Batman kind of Shogun line. Um, Back in the day, this came out in 2018, late, I would say 2016, 17, somewhere in there. XM Studios they were it. They were at the top of the game, the statue game. Everybody knows the story behind their Magneto piece on the throne. It just kicked off this whole thing in statue collecting, and it still is a great piece, the Magneto thing, but it kind of ushered in this new, holy cow, they can achieve that level of detail. And XM Studios, they were it. They were the ones to go get for a short time, for well, a good amount of time, anyways. They're still very good. They've had a couple of hiccups recently, I think, but I think from a few pieces that I've seen, they are coming out of it. Looks like they still have a couple of really, really neat pieces. But they had a lot of Marvel pieces, Magneto being their big one. They did a Transformers line, which I don't know if it's really still going, but they have several Transformers, and they're probably the best Transformers pieces out there. They just are. Kind of based on a Generation One design, but then they added kind of their own touch. For whatever reason, XM Studios they couldn't secure the DC license and put out kind of their line of Batman, Superman, villains, anything based in the DC universe. What they were able to do only in their region, which was Singapore and the other Asian nations, they were able to kind of make a Batman type Shogun, kind of a samurai type line, and that's what this is based off of. They were very successful with this line. I think they did a couple of Batmans, both of which are fantastic pieces. They did a Joker, a Bane. I think even did a Penguin, a Poison Ivy here. They did a Batgirl, a they did a Catwoman too. She was like on a motorcycle type thing. Very good pieces. They were very good across the board. This piece, Poison Ivy, obviously you can see she's kind of based on what I think they call a geisha or geisha, something like that. Anyways, you can see it's very inspired by the Asian culture. You've got her walking across the base, all the ferns, the trees, the branches, the flowers. She's got her little creatures here that she is controlling. She's got her palm up like she's kind of telling that one to do something. The detail on these pieces, this one specifically, there's different levels of green, there's different shades of green, there's little leaves in here, there's different reds, pinks for the flowers, and I'll spin it around. She's holding a little fan. She's got the portrait is immaculate. So it's just very, very well done. And it's a very soothing pose. It's just kind of a trust me pose, kind of like how she's tricking everybody into what she does. And that's kind of what Poison Ivy does. But anyways, if I spin this sucker around, you can see it's got this level of detail, the trees and how they intertwine, they intersect, they go over and under all sorts of things. The color is great. It really, really pops out the flowers. Really, really well done. Just paintwork is amazing. I've always thought, even though I think a lot of us maybe plug lighting features in once, we kind of check them out, think they look really neat, and then we might not use them again. At least that's what I do. I always thought this had real good potential to be lit. Obviously, they didn't. It probably would have increased cost. Maybe, who knows, maybe a battery or whatever. But I thought this had good potential to show off a little light, maybe even a flicker for a kind of a candle like effect. But they didn't do that. That's fine. It still works great. But it's a very, very well done piece. One thing I've always been amazed about ever since I unboxed this with a friend of mine is how the engineering and how it comes together or gets taken apart, put together with all the branches and everything, and they cover the seam lines just just incredible. Um, and it's so well done. And the pieces just they lay perfectly like on top of each other, they crisscross, but there's nothing where they're scraping, where the paint is getting affected or things like that. and she slips into the little slots there. She's very secure in there. She's not going to fall. She doesn't wobble. So there's that. And then the tentacles, the venomous tentacles that she's controlling, they have a real good look to them too. But she does have an alternate look. She has kind of an umbrella. I forget what the name is, but she also has a look where she's holding part of the geisha mask and she's holding it in front of her face, and it's kind of a halfway look. And I'll throw up that image here in the video so you guys can at least see that. But I've always liked this look. It's kind of the one for me. And because I don't keep a lot of spare parts out, I have those packed away in the box. And if any of you guys have XM Studios pieces, you know that the boxes, once stuff is put away, you're not getting them out. It's a real big pain. But, anyways, I'll do some close ups because this definitely deserves it. Really, really well done. Really well done piece. But this is the XM Studios Batman Shogun line, kind of whatever that was. Late 2018, I think, is when it came out, Poison Ivy, and I think they did 600 of this one. One thing XM never did was they didn't do like a regular and then an exclusive. They just did one, and there was a set number, and that was it. So back then they tended to go pretty fast, and they did. This one's gone. But yeah. So we'll do some close-ups, get a better look at it, and go from there. All right. So like I said, very, very nice paint work. You can see the venomous plant. It's got a good paint job on it, the teeth and everything, and the flowers. Just really well done. Different shades of brown for the tree or the twigs, and the paintwork, the fan, different greens, and the vines up and down the body. She's controlling them, doing kind of whatever she wants to do. And there's that one. All right, so we got some close-ups, got kind of a good look at what she looks like. Again, like I said, late 2018, I think it was like October, November, when this one started shipping, when people started getting them. About 600 on the edition size, XM Studios. I think they're still doing pretty good now. Like I said, they had a few bumps with a couple of pieces. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I do think they're kind of coming back around. But back in the day, when they were killing it with Marvel. They had this line going. I don't know. I don't think this line is still going. At least I haven't seen anything. I could be totally wrong. Um, but Poison Ivy from their Batman Shogun line. So, anyways, hope you guys had a good look at this one, and I'll see what I can drum up next. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.